In this video guide, I want to show you how you can create curves, level curves, using 3D terrain here in Sketchup Pro. Now, all you need is Sketchup. So you just create a new file, okay, and you can delete here the character by selecting and deleting it, and then we can go to File, Geolocation, Add Location, and this will bring us to this selection. So you can go scroll with the scroll wheel of your mouse, and then you can select any place that you want to extract as a 3D terrain. And let's zoom. For example, I've chosen this area here because it's pretty steep and I can work a lot with curves, and this is like a lake, so it's really low, and this part are like hills and they're pretty high, so I'm gonna see this really nice where I'm gonna extract. And so this is the selection of the area that you want to extract. Now you have limits, so you cannot go too far, so you can select here from level 14, and then you can get closer and closer, and then at some point it's gonna stop. Now you can switch this map type, like with the low res, high res coverage, and then you can say, okay, I like this region, and say select region. Now it's asking me to select an imagery provider, and I have two. So the first one is digital globe, and it has 18 levels of detail. So the more this grid becomes small, and the more detail you're gonna have. So if it's like this, you are going to have a low res picture. So if you increase this, you're gonna have high resolution, you will have a lot of pixels. Okay, and then you can also switch this on and off, tile boundaries. Okay, well, also you can adjust this if you want, or you can keep it square and say import. All right, now you need to be patient, and you don't need to close the window, and there you go. Now the first time you're gonna import it into the software, is gonna look flat. It's gonna look just like an image, which is pretty good resolution. As you can see, I can zoom a lot here, and if you want, I believe, higher resolution, you can go back here, and well, you can continue to add more imagery, you can continue to add more location, you can clear the location. Okay, now when you are here and you say select region, you also have well, digital globe and also iRes near map, which is another service, which it's gonna be more and more high resolution, but you're gonna have to pay a lot of money here. So it depends on the resolution, it's gonna cost you more and more. So you can also have this option, but we're gonna use this one. So I'm going to go to File and say geolocation again, and say show terrain. Now if you say clear, it's gonna delete, and if you say show, it's gonna show you the 3D surface that now you can use. And you can see it's well, you can see a little bit the polygons there, the edginess of the mesh, but it's again pretty good resolution, so we can definitely use it to create, for example, terrains also in Revit or BIM application, BIM application. So you can export them and you can use this as a terrain. But we are going to create now some level curves to use, for example, for CAD drawings, for again BIM, AutoCAD, or other applications that are vector graphics. So the first thing I want to do here is I want to go to the top view. So if you don't see this menu, just right click and go to views and open it up, so you can move around the area. And I want to see this from above like this. And to be more precise, I can also go to camera and say parallel projection, so it's gonna look flat. And now what I need to do is to create a rectangle or plane. So I just need to embed everything inside. So I'm gonna create the rectangle like this. So all the map is gonna go inside, and then click. And you can see this now, it's like intersecting with that other mesh or model. So if I go back to the 3D isometric, so I can see now what it's doing. So it created this plane here. So what I want to do, it's double click on this so that I can select the surface inside and all the lines in the edges, because those are vectors. Okay, and I want to create a group. So right click and make group. And now I want to move front, and I'm still in the parallel projection, otherwise I would see like that. And so go back to parallel projection, and if you find it difficult to select this, go to 3D, but you're gonna see it in blue. It's pretty easy to see it. So I will click with the move button or move tool. I will click here on this corner and just bring this below the 3D mesh. Okay, now what I need to do to create the curves is to intersect a lot of planes with the mesh. So I only have one right now. I need copies. So if I select the first one and I want to create a copy, I can again select the move tool and click where I want to move, the first point, and then I click Control, and this is gonna create a second line because I'm creating a copy basically. So where do I place this? Well, if I want to do it exactly in a particular position, I can see down here the distance. So if I type, for example, let's say 20, which would be 20 meters for me, but you can use also other units if you want, depending on the units that you are using, of course. So this one is the first, but well, I don't want to do this for each single plane. I want to create an array or a series of planes. So what I do here, again, same technique, select, move, click on the move point, the first point of the movement, click Control, and this is going to create the second one. Again, type 20 to define the distance between the first one and the second one, and then without touching anything, just type, for example, let's say 20, and then type X or the times. Press enter, and then you will find the copies. So you can practice this maybe more than one time if you don't get it right the first time. So again, you need to follow all the steps. So select, move, click here, go up and click Control just once, say 20 for the distance and type, and sorry, click enter, and then type 20x and type enter again. Those are the steps. And so we have these planes here. Now I will delete the last three because they don't intersect the mesh, so they are not needed. And also the first one here, I can delete it and then go back to the 3D view. Now you can see that the terrain now is inside this pile of planes. So we can now select everything like that and right click with your mouse and say intersect faces with model. Okay, now you just have to wait a little bit, and then we can hide the planes, or we can move them or we can delete them, doesn't matter. So right click, hide, and there are your levels and your level curves. Each curve, it's 20 meters from the other, so we have a spacing between them of 20 meters. But you can change, of course, the number of curves, you can change the spacing, you can do whatever you want with the same method. Now, final part, we can just take this one, it's blocked, or if it's not, right click and say block or lock. and make sure that that's locked, and you can click here, do a rectangle of selection, and select all the curves at once and create another group so that they stick together. So right click and say make group, and now you can keep it there. You can export everything. You can export just the curves, depends on you, but what we can do here is just hide, well, let's say unlock first and then right click and hide, and these are the curves. So if I want to export these, I will select them, say file, export, 3D model, and we can export these for 3D Studio Max, 3ds, AutoCAD, DWG, or Revit, or other software that supports these CAD files, DXF, DWG, and also other 3D formats like FBX for, let's say, Twinmotion or Unreal or Maya. We have OBJ, Cinema 4D. We have STL for the printing, 3D printers. And we have IFC for BIM, again for BIM. So you can make your choice, export it, and use it in many different applications. So this will be all for this video guide. If you like it, please subscribe. If you want to support us, please join the channel. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.